This is a discussion on written work 1.2 answers on operations of functions. So let's start with the first set of functions. F of x equal to 3x minus 1 and g of x equal to 12x squared minus 4x. We are adding our functions here, the two functions. So we start with f plus g and then of x. That will be equal to 3x minus 1 as your f of x, adding that one to the next function, which is g of x, and that's 12x squared minus 4x. Let's try to arrange this one in order from highest exponent down to the lowest exponent, so basically the constant. So we've got 12x squared. We write 3x. We write 3x here, so we have plus 3x. And then next is the minus 4x. Always make sure that you copy the sign before the term. So we have minus 4x, and we've got the constant here with a minus before that one, so we have minus 1. Then we try to combine like terms, combining 3x and 4x here. So 12x squared, 3x minus 4x, that will be 3 minus 4, that's a negative 1, or simply negative x. And then we copy minus 1. So that will be now our f plus g of x. We go to the next one. We are going to look for our difference of the function. So we just subtract the two functions. F is mentioned first. So we always start with the first letter or first name of our function mentioned. So f of x, we've got 3x minus 1. We may include that one in a parenthesis, and then we have subtract that one by the second function, which is g of x, and that's 12x squared minus 4x. Reminder, enclose this one in a parenthesis. So we do KCC. We kept the first number, 3x minus 1. Next, we change minus to a plus. We change all the signs here that we can see. So from positive to negative 12x squared. From minus to a plus 4x. And then we are arranging that one in order. So we start with the one with the squared. We have negative 12x squared. Then next, we've got 3x. Then we have 4x. And then we have minus 1. Combining like terms, this is now negative 12x squared. 3 plus 4, that's 7. Copying x as the common variable, minus 1. So this is now f minus g of x. So next we are going to do multiplication. So since this is only binomial and binomial, so we just simply do our distribution here. So make sure that you are following the FOIL method. So we've got 3x minus 1 times 12x squared minus 4x. Then we do the FOIL method, first term first. 3 times 12, that will be 36. X times x squared. This is where we are adding our exponents. 1 plus 2, that's 3. So x is with a power of 3. Next, we do the outer. Outer is 3x and negative 4x. 3 times negative 4, that's negative 12. X times x, we're adding our exponents. So we've got x to the power of 2. Next, we go inner. Negative 1 times 12x squared. So we've got negative 1 times 12, that's negative 12. Copying our variable with the exponent x squared. Next, we go for the last term. Negative 1 times negative 4, that's positive 4. Copying x. Then arranging, we've got 36x cubed. This one is already arranged, so we need to combine like terms. Negative 12 minus 12. So again, KCC for negative 12 minus 12. KCC for this one. This is negative 12. Change this one to a plus. Change this to a negative number. So this is negative 24. So this is now negative 24. Copying the common variable and the exponent. Then we've got 4x. So this is now our final answer for f times g of x. So next we go for the division. So we've got g over f of x. Now always remember we need to follow whatever function is at the top should be at the top. So we have g here, so that should be g of x, which is 12x squared minus 4x. Then f of x is at the bottom part, so we also follow 3x minus 1 should be at the bottom part. Now, since this is binomial and this is a minus at the top, we need to check if this is a perfect square. X squared is a perfect square, but 12 is not. Although 4 is a perfect square, but x here on this term is not. So that is why we cannot make use of the difference of two perfect squares. So we are going to simplify this one by factoring out GCF, or the greatest common factor, wherein for 12 and 4, greatest common factor is 4, because 12 can be with factors 3 and 4. 3 times 4 is 12. So 4 is common, so we take it out. And for x squared and x is common, so we take it out, leaving us with another factor coming from the result when we divide each of the term here by the one that we took out. So 12 divided by 4, that's 3. X squared divided by x, that's x. Then we have a minus. 4 divided by 4, that's 1. X divided by x, that's 1 as well. So we have 1 here. And at the bottom part, we've got 3x minus 1. Now looking at our top and the bottom part, we've got common factor, which is 3x minus 1. So we cancel that one because that will make it into 1. 3x minus 1 divided by 3x minus 1, that's equal to 1 times 4x, that will be 4x. So this is now the result when we say g over f of x. That's equal to 4x. So let us now go for this one. So we've got f over g of x. So again, at the top, we've got f of x. So we start with 3x minus 1. At the bottom part, we've got g of x. So we have 12x squared minus 4x. Now notice this one is just a reciprocal of what we did on g over f of x. So whatever you obtain on the g over f of x, with the same given here, you just do the reciprocal of that one, and that will be the answer here. So anyways, if we are going to do our usual way, factoring out this one at the bottom part, because at the top we cannot find anything that is in common between 3x and 1, so we factor out the bottom part. So this is now with 4x, just like what we did a while ago. So 4x is taken out, 12x squared divided by 4x, this is now 3x minus 4x divided by 4x, that's 1. We cancel this one out. And then we are left with 4x at the bottom part, but it doesn't mean that we don't have a number at the top. Always that when you cancel 3x minus 1, what is left here at the top is 1, because it is always the case that if you've got a factor here, then the other factor is a 1. We've considered 3x minus 1 as a factor. Based on this one, we're canceling factors, so we've got a 1 as the leftover factor. So we have the final answer as 1 over f of x. So that will be our f over g of x. So let's go for the second given function. So we are to look for our f plus g of x. So some may go for vertical adding for this one. So we will be adding like this, x minus 3. Then we align the second function here, x squared. We don't have an x squared on the first function. So we are not going to align that one on x because they are not like terms. Next one is minus 9x. We align that one to your x here because they are the same terms with an x. So we have minus 9x. Then we go for a plus 18. Then we add it up. Negative 3 plus 18, that will be positive 15. Then we have x plus negative 9x. That will be negative 8x. And then we've got an x squared. So this is now our final answer for f plus g of x. That is x squared minus 8x plus 15. Next, let's go for f minus g of x. So this time I'm not going to do the vertical way of subtracting, but I'll be doing the horizontal way because I need to really keep my change method. So we've got f as your first function, x minus 3, minus our second function, x squared minus 9x plus 18. Again, always enclose this one in a parenthesis. So we do our KCC, we do keep, so x minus 3, we do change to plus, then we do change whatever sign we've seen here into its opposite sign. So we have positive x squared, that should be negative x squared. This is minus 9x, so that should be plus 9x. This is plus 18, so that should be minus 18. Combining like terms and arranging, this is negative x squared. Then we follow plus x, plus 9x, minus 3, minus 18. Combining like terms, this is now negative x squared. X plus 9x, that's 10x. Then we've got negative 3 minus 18. Do the KCC again. We have negative 3 plus negative 18, that's negative 21. So that will be our final answer. So that will be f minus g of x. Next, we go for finding the product. So this time I'm not going to do distribution, but if you may, you can also use that one. But always ensure that one that should be in the correct way of distributing. So you follow a system on that one. So I'll be doing the box method or the lattice multiplication. So x, I'll be writing my x minus 3 on the first column. So x, then I have here minus 3. Then I've got on the second function x squared. And then I've got minus 9x. And then I've got a positive 18, so I don't need to write the symbol there. So again, multiplying this one, x times x squared, that's x cubed. X times negative 9x, that's negative 9x squared. X times 18, that's 18x. Negative 3 times x squared, that's negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times negative 9x, that's positive 27x. Negative 3 times 18, that will be negative 48. Oops, but wait, this should be negative 54. Okay, there you go. So again, we are now adding what is inside. So in adding, we only put our focus here in the one or on the terms inside. So we will be adding per diagonal. So since we have x cubed here, so we'll just copy that one. So f times g of x, that will be equal to x cubed. Then we add the diagonals here containing the same terms. Negative 3 plus negative 9, that's negative 12x squared. Next, we go for this one here. 27 plus 18, that will be equal to 45x. So that will be positive. Then next, we've got to copy the negative 54. So this is now our answer for f times g of x. We've got x cubed minus 12x squared plus 45x minus 54. So next, let's go for dividing. So we are dividing g over f of x. We start with g of x, x squared minus 9x plus 18. Then we divide that 1 by x minus 3. So since your numerator is trinomial, we need to consider the positive 18 or the constant here in looking for factors. So again, we looked for factors of positive 18 in a way that we are going to base the sum of the factors to the middle term, which is negative 9. So their sum will be negative 9. So since this is positive 18 and we wanted to come up with the sum of the factors as negative, so we are expecting that the factors should be all negative because negative times negative, that's positive. So we start with negative 1 times negative 18, that's equal to positive 18. Negative 1 plus negative 18, that's equal to negative 19. That's not the one that we're looking at, the middle term. So next, let's go for negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 9, that's positive 18. Negative 2 plus negative 9, that will be equal to negative 11. And again, that's not it. So let's go for the next one. Negative 3 and negative 6, that's equal to positive 18. Negative 3 plus negative 6, that will be equal to negative 9. So there you go. That's the one in the middle term. And of course, we are going to base our factors for these factors. And how to write that one? We are going to write two parentheses here, taking the square root of x squared. So we've got that one as x. So we copy that one also on the other factor. Then we will be writing the first factor here that we've obtained based on the positive 18. So we attach that one. So whatever is the sign here, that should be the sign also attached to your x. So we have x minus 3. On the other factor, we've got the negative 6 here. So we need to also attach that one to your x on the second factor. So factors for x squared minus 9x plus 18 is x minus 3 times x minus 6. Then we copy our denominator. Notice they are the same, so we cancel it out. And that is equal to x minus 6 over 1, or simply x minus 6. So this is now our g over f of x. So next, let's go for the other one. So f over g of x. So again, we're going to do f of x, which is x minus 3. Our x squared minus 9x plus 18 is at the bottom part. And we need to factor out trinomial here. So x minus 3, factoring this out, this is with x minus 3 times x minus 6. Canceling this one here, we've got that one as x minus 6. And again, even though we cannot see any number at all on the numerator, always remember that once we cancel this one as a factor, there is another factor left out here, which is 1. So that will be now f over g of x, which is equal to 1 over x minus 6.